And this whole like the idea or phrase of feminists being man haters and everything like that.
Mhm.
Just to sprinkle some education and knowledge on this. There's feminism and then there's misandry. Right? And I love that you laughed because you know what that word means. There's feminism, and then even take a little bit further. There's feminism, womanism, and misandry. Misandry is oftentimes like that's the hatred and the vile and the like these ain't shit and I can't stand men and I hate men. Like, because I'd be the first, like I'd be the first one to tell you, if anyone should hate men, it should be me. I should have an automatic get out of jail free card for hating men. I have experienced so much trauma and abuse and violence against by black men, by white men, and Latinx men, and I'm honestly just like, you know what? Those individuals did that to me.
Yeah.
I will forever love and honor my black men and my black kings. Why? Because I know that those individuals were not worthy of my interaction. And then there's got to be black men out there who are worthy of my interaction. I just have to figure out my own worth, interact with myself in a certain way to where it's like I can change that dynamic and the energy surrounding those or pulling me to a certain group or a certain type of black man. Because really and truly, like growing up, my dad was my best friend. Like I loved being around men. I loved being around, like it was always my dad, my uncle, and my dad and my uncles. Like whether it was my mom's uncle or whether it was my mom's brother or my dad's brothers and stuff, like I was always surrounded and I felt comfortable that way. Like I always felt, because I was very much a tomboy. Like I was rough and tumble. Like my mom had to beat me into a dress on Sundays. Like she was like, "You're wearing this dress," and I was like, "Shorts." Dress pants. Like, come on, I'll still wear the patent leather shoes, but just dress pants. And she'd be like, just put on the crinoline, put it on. And I'd be like, no. So I was always very comfortable around black men and having that. And even as an educator and even as a teacher, like when my students, you know, when my boy students get out of line and I know, you know, I can't check them. There's only so, and it's not even in terms of physicality, but like some of the topics in their mind, like a teenage boy's mind is only going to let me in so far because I show up as a very attractive light-skinned woman and I know what society says about me to boys of that age, that demographic. So a lot of times I would make relationships and bonds with my male coworker, whether it was a security guard, you know, the men in the lunch in the cafeteria, whatever. Sometimes I would need to call in I needed to call in a baba and be like, get him, please, get him. I can't do it right now. I can't, he's not opening the door in his head, and emotionally I'm tapped out. Like I'm not gonna be teacher no more. I'm going into full-blown auntie, and like I'm gonna wring his neck. Take him out. Take him, please. And then if Baba couldn't handle it because, like we said, he wasn't solid, I'd be like, hello, guidance, please. Then, you know, but I ultimately try to handle things culturally first. I try to go through the culture swing of it and then be like, okay, cool, you're not responding. Now we got to do society's way. Because that's how I show up, really and truly. That's how I got it. That's how I got love. Like my mama and my daddy were oftentimes like, we're gonna do this the cultural way, and then we're gonna ground you. You're gonna read this book, you're gonna do a book report, you're gonna understand why culturally you messed up, and then give me your cell phone. You cannot hang out with your friends. That type of thing. So always balanced and always just aware of like all aspects of self, because I really don't like the man hating rhetoric. I much prefer holding men accountable.
Yeah.
Like definitely holding men accountable. But as far as being like, oh, I hate men, I hate men.
And that's damaging. And there's no, I ain't gonna say there's no love, but according to what's inherent, like a social media presence, and people copy social media thinking it's reality, and they make it reality. In that, there's no love for black men. There's no love for black women. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I do see a lot of black women lifting each other up, which I like to see.
I I'll say it for you. There is no love for black men. I think it's a little bit more palpable coming from a female, the vessel of a woman. There is no love for black men. We're not seeing it. We're not seeing it. If we compare the rhetoric and the dialogue for black women being able to heal, and me just stepping into my espiritista and what I see in African spirituality and in the spiritual community overall, whether it's shamanism or crystals, we're not seeing it. We seeing it for men. Like there's definitely a wave of like healing for men in terms of like non-black men and European men. Like you see a lot more European men or Euro looking, white adjacent looking men kind of coming to the forefront with other people who are who look like. But as far as like black men in bodies, it's speckled right now. It's very fair, few and rare. I think I could maybe think of like 3 or 4 black male healing circles.
Yeah.
And that was like before, like I don't know how they're faring with COVID and thing like that in terms of maintaining that, but it hurts. It hurts. It hurts. When I tried to bring ideas of an event for black men and stuff, like especially as a black woman, especially as trying to hold space for black women, trying to hold space for black men as a woman, being on some like I'm auntie, like big mama and stuff like that. I was shut down by another black man and told, and so and I don't, and this is, and you weigh this out for me, because this is what I was told. On one end, I felt like it was a super intellectual way of telling me no, but maybe it's valid. I don't know. I was told that my presence would throw the openness and the vulnerability of men, because oftentimes men perform masculinity around women. They don't really lean into their vulnerability or lean into their emotions and feelings if a woman is around, because they're going to be like, I have to be strong.
I don't think that's true. I think, especially unless he has some experience with that before. But I think as long as it's about how you present yourself. It's about your spirit. I mean, naturally, people pick up on these things, and it's good to not ignore those things. You can. I know you've experienced it. Like people just they around you for a little bit, and then they just start opening up, telling you. It's like, hold on, whoa, I didn't ask for that. Like, come on. But if you facilitate, you run with that, because if you facilitate that, I guarantee they will feel comfortable being vulnerable. In my experience, I was dating a young lady, and I was vulnerable with her, and she was abusive with me. She said that I was trying to manipulate her by me opening up and being a certain way. And I'm just like, look, damage can't heal the damage, But if somebody that's actually like authentically willing to say, look, we're gonna facilitate some healing in this circle, we open up with each other, nothing leaves it. You set the ground rules. Once you present yourself that way, and you consistently that way, you'll have a lot of success in that space. And it's needed. Because a real man understands the importance of that feminine aspect. So like, even if it's based with just having men there, and then they might have you provide some other things, you never know. So nah, you run with that. That's necessary.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, because that was how I was raised, and that was also some of the tenets that I studied in African spirituality, and even just just spiritual dynamics overall, like, you know, the balance between masculine and feminine energy, that yin and that yang, all of that, you know, the energy flow. Like, I was like, it's great to have men participating and facilitating healing circles. I was like, but the goal, the purpose of why we want this to be done, the seed, is that men are damaging forces to women. And I was like, if we keep having these healing spaces with no women present, how do we know that healing has really occurred? How do we know? You know, and teacher brain, it's like, if we want men to have healthy interactions with women, but we detach women from that healing process, it's like, what's the assessment? What's the baseline? How do you draw data from that? So that was, but now I ultimately know, maybe this is just something I have to run with on my own.
You gotta get with, if you're gonna do it with people, get with some solid dudes, because you gonna have some no girls allowed type, because that's what happens in a lot of women's circles. It's like, look, y'all men just, y'all no. And I understand. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't understand it. I don't like it.
I understand why they have that view. I do think it's necessary that men, especially if you interact with men, they should probably be present. So I understand the basis of why you're just like, not right now, blah, blah, blah. But at a point, you can't tell me as a man, I have no right to chime in on what I prefer from my woman. It's like, hold on. Like, y'all can have standards, but I can't. That don't make a lick of sense. So I'm saying, I want my woman to be like this. And it's like, you can't tell her what to do. I'm like, I ain't telling nobody what to do. Because you could bounce.
I want. And that's the thing, is it's like some of these elements within spirituality and psychology and things that we say all the time, it's like, when it comes time to activate them, when it comes time to apply these tenets, people be like, oh, well, no, that's toxic. I spoke in the eye, fam. I've been in therapy since I was 8 years old. I dare you to tell me that I'm toxic. That's not toxic. I'm connected to what I want. I have a sense of purpose and direction and intention for the relationship I'm trying to go into. That's not toxic. Mm-hmm. That's not toxic. I want it. This is, I want a man who is 6 feet tall, who's taller than me. Put it that. I want a man who's taller than me, right? This is what I want. I've dated men who are shorter than me. I'm attracted to men who are shorter than me. I'm open to being with a man who's shorter, but I want a man who's taller than me. That's not toxic. That's not toxic.
But hold on. If I say I want my woman to be in shape, or I want her to, work out like I do, then it's gonna be a whole host of problems. And it's just like, it's nothing against you if you don't work out, but I do like that, I'm digging that.
That's what you're giving. That's how you show up. That's how you show up. That's my thing. Like, because perfect example, I'm very fit as well. I'm very fit. I take care of my body. There have been moments where most people don't expect this at all. There was a point in my life in my 20s where I was like over 220 pounds.
Yeah. And
I worked very hard to get my body back and to get it into a place and a shape where, as a dancer, as a teacher, because teachers, we be moving and grooving and we need our bodies to keep up with us. And I did the work. And a lot of times, people would say to me, they'd be like, oh, well, as I was heavier, they'd be like, oh, well, you like thick dudes and all that. And I was like, actually, I'm not even liking any dude, because like what I want and the way I show up are not in alignment right now. So like I got my work cut out for me. And that's the thing, like, now that my body is in a place where I want it, like, I want a man who reflects what I'm offering. Like, I look good. I put a lot of time and energy in my body to looking good as well. Like, I want that. I want that. I want somebody who puts in his diet, his water, like vitamins, nutrients, the same care that I put in my body. I want my partner to put that back. I want to receive that in my, like, that's not toxic. That's not toxic. That's fair energy exchange.
One thing I kind of ran with was this saying: if she don't take care of herself, she ain't gonna take care of me. And that's in a nutritional space. That's in a spiritual space, in an emotional space. Any of that.
Yeah, I remember I was dating in my 20s, and my approach may have been a little fiery. I was very passionate and intense. I was a lot more bolder and intense in my 20s. But this one guy I was dating, I just even had a habit of asking it in my 20s. Being in college, I was like, oh, did you eat today? But constantly ask people, did you eat today? Did you eat today? And one guy I was dating, he habitually would tell me no. Like, no, I didn't eat. No, I didn't eat. No, I didn't eat. No, I didn't. And this went on for like, I think maybe like 2 weeks. And I finally called him on the phone, and I was like, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life, but this is what I feel from based on what I'm hearing. I was like, every time I asked you if you ate, you said no. And I was like, that really makes me upset, because I take care of myself a certain way, and I keep myself healthy. And if you're going to be my friend, at the very least, if you're going to interact with me, I was like, I need you to take care of yourself better. I was like, because you not eating it's telling me something about how you value yourself, and that is going to trickle down to how you value me. And I don't really know, like, if that, I'm not liking it. And he was like, wow, okay, wow, that's big. I hear that. He heard it, he never applied it, and that eventually manifested into, we never got into a relationship, but I thought we were dating exclusively. Like, I thought we agreed to like only be seeing each other. He was dating one of my close friends. Yeah, and we would like talk to each other, like because I'm a Virgo. It's like one of my good Virgo sisters, and we were always talking about like, oh, Taurus men, and she'd be like, oh, my Taurus, and I'd be like, oh, well, my Taurus. We were dating the same Taurus.
Same guy. I don't mean to poke fun at me, bro.
No, it's funny. It is funny, because eventually, like, she eventually showed me. She was like, oh, we got to a place where we were comfortable, because we were only like seeing each other or like at parties and stuff like that. So we got to a place where she was finally like, she's like, oh, I broke it off with him. She's like, I can't anymore. And I was like, oh my God, like, are you okay? And she was like crying hysterically. And I was like, show me a picture of him. I was like, what? And she showed me the picture, and I was like, I like just stopped responding to her. I was just like, and I never really said to her that, like, you know, because I have a background in polyamory. So I was just like, oh, okay, I know how I'm just gonna fade to the background. I was like, now that I know that this guy like is not genuine at all, I was like, I'm going underneath the veil. But it didn't stop me from being shady. There was another opportunity, I think like a year later, where we were at a party, and I was like, oh, hey girl, how you doing? Long time no see. And the guy was also there. So like me and her walked over to get, like, I knew, but I don't think he knew that I knew. So, you know, my masculine energy was like, hey girl, let's go say hi to so-and-so. And he was just like, like, and I was like,
no.
Chuck, like, yeah, it was it's very interesting. It's